Wonder Egg Priority is not a great show.
It's not often you see a shit ending as shitty as Wonder Egg Priorities ending.
I can tell you what's not anime of the season. Fucking Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah, I know.
I am baffled by Wonder Egg Priority's popularity.
Wonder Egg Priority doesn't jump the shark, per se. I'd argue that it can't, really.
We will now christen this series Blunder Egg Priority.
I would say it's mediocre.
I don't know how so many people end up thinking this is a good show.
No. Holy shit, no.
Because under the pretty animation and sentimental setting, this show is nothing more than another primetime TV melodrama.
I'm sorry if you came into this video thinking I would be uncritically defensive of the show, because I also am saddened by the fact that it is not good. The main reason I think that it's very not good is because it doesn't seem to know what type of story it wants to tell, flip-flopping between themes and straight up going against the entire thesis it had been setting up by the end of it. I completely understand why anyone would not want to watch it because of how bad the ending is, but I personally can't seem to completely place Wonder Egg Priority into that basket of bad shows that I'll never recommend to anyone, because while it does so badly at the end, it does so incredibly goodly at the beginning. The entire internet anime community kind of went wild for it as it was airing. Impossible for me to escape spoilers for as I just scrolled through Twitter, and it completely makes sense why. What were we doing? Oh yeah, Wonder Egg Priority is a show that starts off extremely, almost unbelievably strong. The animation is gorgeous, reminiscent of the best of Kyoto animation, even though it is not surprisingly KyoAni. Okay, I gotta address the elephant in the room. I did not secretly replace my throat with that of a prepubescent boy, and also not on 1 month of tea. Although that is strangely relevant to what I'm gonna be talking about later. So. No, sadly none of these. It's just I had a cold for like a week and I'm completely fine otherwise, but I still have this weird voice, so that's just how it's gonna be, okay? So, Wonder Egg Priority. The animation is amazing, the character designs are really cute and unique, and dare I say it, do people still use that word? I feel like I'm dating myself here, but that was like all the rage when I was a teenager. Oh yeah, okay, it's on its way out.
Good riddance.
The way Wonder Egg Priority, which I will be calling wet egg pussy, starts off is extremely strong. It made me go all sleuth mode trying to figure out which parts of it Ikuhara had put his grubby hands on. Of course, had I known how web would turn out, I would have never made the frankly immoral assumption that Ikuhara was involved in any way, shape, or form with the burning heap of moe trash fire that ensued. Oh. Is it okay if I, egg? So, you might be wondering, Stushi, why are you wasting my time? Why are you wasting your time? This script took you what, like 20 hours to write and edit, and then 40 more hours to record, and then 60 more hours to edit and post on socials and make a thumbnail for it and everything, and for what? Why are you doing this? Don't you have a day job? Yes, I do have a day job. And that's why I'm posting this like 5 months after the show ended and the discourse is completely blown over and everyone has forgotten about this show. If you wanted me to make videos that are actually relevant and follow current trends, you could pay me. For real. Like if you actually like what I do, Patreon soft launch, you can pay me, check it out, or just like and subscribe so other people can pay me, thanks. But also, you're right, this is probably a waste of my time. If I had to explain this though, I would say that I'm making this out of a morbid sense of schadenfreude around my own feelings about the ending of the show, combined with my love for the first 6 or so episodes, and then my very strong feelings for one single character in the show who I would watch a whole show about, and it's not I. I is cute, She's very but she's kind of boring. But okay, let me go back to the beginning and try and explain what made WEP so good in the first place.
Obviously, spoiler warning for the show, and also this show is not in any way suitable for young children and or people who have freshly been through this type of trauma. It is actually incredibly hard to watch, so don't let the cutesy animation trick you into thinking this will be your standard Naoko Yamada slice of life Tamako market type fare. It is more Madoka meets Guilty Crown? Lamau. But before we dive into the plot, here is a super quick intro on WEP. It's a 12-episode anime, if you take out the recap episode and include the final 20 minutes of the special, that aired in 2021, created by Studio Cloverworks. Best known for that incredible first season of Promised Neverland, and also the absolute dog shit second season of Promised Neverland. It was produced by Aniplex and DN Dream Partners, who I had never heard of before. Speaking of never heard of before, the show was written / created by Shinji Nojima, someone with zero previous experience in the anime industry, but with some pretty prolific previous experience in Japanese television. He also wrote some manga, I guess, but I did not bother to read them. In a similar vein, WEP was directed by Shin Wakabayashi, someone who has been in the anime industry for quite a while, being the key animator for multiple hyperfile shows and directing a few episodes here and there, but never being the showrunner for anything before WEP. Now, this combination of inexperienced leaders gave many people some pause, but just because someone doesn't have direct experience doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be a shit show. I mean, we gotta give people a chance to prove themselves, right? No. So the show starts off as this really weird, surreal, and fascinating head-first deep dive into magical realism. The first 5 minutes of the show are highly, highly reminiscent of something like Penguin Drum or Sarazanmai, hence all the Ikuhara references people kept pointing out.
世界の殻を破らねば我らは生まれずに死んでゆく
I think that what people, including myself, are trying to say with that comparison is that it seemed to be the type of show that trusts the viewer to think for themselves, which is weirdly rare. The type of show where context is non-existent and supernatural stuff just kind of happens and you're forced to accept it or leave because no explanation will ever be given because all of the meaning you're supposed to get is already there, but it's hidden in subtext and metaphors and visual language and your interpretation of the events rather than the concrete action happening on screen. And while I completely understand that that is not everyone's jam, it is 100% Stushi core.
Yes, I am. I'm copying Hazel's core thing. She seems really cool. Can we be friends, please?
I fucking love not understanding what's going on, having to rewatch something 10 times and find new meanings to everything. And I really thought that's what this show was gonna be. Because what happens in the very first episode is Ai follows this firefly who gives her an egg, which she is told to crack open, and out of it comes this teenage girl her age who she now has to protect from these see no evil creatures, and she has to use a symbolic item from the person she is protecting, in this case a multicolor pen, to defeat the personification of that girl's trauma and reason for having killed herself. After which the girl she was protecting vanishes in a puff of smoke. And this is all happening in some sort of dream sequence parallel universe type thing, so the girl that Ai has to protect isn't actually alive in the real world. She is encased in stone in another world. The reason Ai is in this world in the first place is because her best friend, Koi, also killed herself. Every time Ai successfully protects a girl, I'm getting real angry, her friend, Koi, gets a little warmer. The firefly tells her that if she manages to protect enough of these girls, Koi will eventually come back to life. But Ai can't be the one to bring these other girls that she's protecting back to life. Someone who cared about them in the real world has to do what Ai is doing in order to bring them back.
Now, if you are me, kind of fucked up in the head, your thought process would be something like this. Damn, that was really hard to watch, but it was so beautiful. I can't wait to see what happens next. I already have some ideas. Like, I'm pretty sure that this show is gonna be like bait and switch, where they actually can't bring Koi back to life, but they're just saying that to get Ai to work for them because they need her. energy for some ulterior purpose that we won't find out until much later, of course. It's a show that talks about how easily adults take advantage of teenage girls and their innocence, but at the same time, their like energy and ability to like feel things really deeply and in a way that adults aren't able to anymore. And I'm sure that there's other girls too. It's not just I who is fighting, and they're all just like stuck in this perpetual cycle of fighting and violence together. A little predictable, but it could still be good. Like, predictable stories aren't inherently bad. What I don't know is whether in the end it's gonna be like a happy story, like whether Ai is gonna fight against the system and find a way to live through her friend's death regardless, or even, I don't know, actually get some magic and get her back. Or if it's gonna be a sad ending where Ai discovers that she can't actually do shit and succumbs to darkness. I don't know, but either way, this all seems like a scathing indictment of the way that society treats teenage girls, and I'm excited to see more. I can't wait for next week to see where the show goes next. Okay, yeah, I knew it. I knew there would be more than one girl. I'm still excited to see what happens next. Yeah, okay, I didn't predict everything, but it's still pretty good. What the fuck? Yeah, no, I've never been more wrong in my life. None of that happened. And what the show actually did end up saying was the reason this all happened was because these two guys, in their spare time after work, created this super intelligent AI moe girl named Frill, who her hobbies include being kawaii and being moe and being super duper fucking cute, you guys. Look at the way that she like pops her lips. Who does that? What's up with that? Why does she do that? Is that a thing in Japan? But then she gets jealous, as girls do, when the ikemen daddy gets himself a waifu, and so Frill murders her. Oopsie. Also later, his daughter, once she turns 14, through computer wire magic, instills the love of death, Thanatos, not the hot one, into that 14-year-old girl, and even though her daddies burn her to death, her underlings, who are a dragonfly and a butterfly, are the real reason why teenage girls all want to kill themselves. Because they would have no other... Oh, and they all want to fuck their dads and or teachers. Wasn't gonna do that again. That's what the show ended up saying. Like, I'm not even exaggerating anything here. They had a good thing going, and then they ruined it. They just fucking ruined it. They just fucking...
So, having very badly given you all that context, let me dive into some of my lukewarm reasoning for why this show might be worth holding on to despite all of the quite obvious bad. First, the characterization of the main cast of girls alongside Ai is really, really well done. Each of the main girls are going through various types of grief, combined with guilt. The type of guilt that isn't rational or externally inflicted. The type of guilt that comes from a lack of closure, a lack of understanding of the exact circumstances that would make someone you love go through something so final. Something so irreversible. Each girl has someone who they think killed themselves in a way that was somehow their fault. Ai's friend Koi is found splattered on the school grounds during a time when Ai knew Koi was being bullied and she couldn't stand up for her. Kawaii Rika is an ex-idol who made fun of one of her hardcore stans for being fat, who then decides to quit her career when she finds out that stan starved herself to death. Man, This is probably one of the only times when using the word stan is truly accurate to the etymology of the word. Neiru Momoe is a tomboy who is often mistaken for a guy and who a lot of girls have a crush on, including her best friend Haruka, who tries to get it on with Momoe but is rejected and ends up killing herself. All the girls think that it is their fault on some level that these people they cared about are gone. And the care that is put into crafting their backstories and personalities is precious. You can really feel the level of understanding and empathy that the writers have for these girls. A lot, but not all of this, gets set aside in favor of sci-fi gobbledygook by the end of the show. We'll never know exactly why this happened, but the other layer on top of this stinking pile of slop is the production issues going on behind the scenes that may well have exaggerated the issue. Overwork is definitely a common issue in the animation industry that is bigger than this one show, but the web production committee seems to have missed some very, very low bars. The producer and animators were facing serious health problems, not sleeping well, and overworking themselves to the point of hospitalization. One animator even said, on average, every animator working here has lost about 10 kilograms of weight. See, my silly little worker rights-oriented brain can't help but wonder whether overworking people to the point of hospitalization may, in fact, cause them to lose motivation and perhaps even the ability to tell a compelling and consistently high-quality story. I won't speculate any further here about this, but there's a really good article by Fry Kaiser that delves into all sides of this issue that I highly recommend you check out. However, it is clear to me that many people on the team understood the assignment. They understood what they were making and what made this show good, but then others clearly did not. And those others seem to have won by the end.
What made it good, in my opinion, are two things. One, the lack of explicit explanation about the supernatural events of the story, while still maintaining consistency within its own universe, and two, the deep empathy shown to these characters. Sadly, both of these things kind of fly out the window by the end of the show. The second one is easier to botch. I kind of get it when that happens because it's really hard to write good. But the former, the lack of explicit explanation, is like hard to fuck up once you've set it up so well. There's a note here from my partner saying, this reminds me a lot about Star Wars and why people hated the prequels. Force equals soft magic, then it becomes hard magic in the prequels with midi-chlorians. People just try and forget. I have seen Star Wars. It's difficult to pull people into a magic world if you've established that it is a completely normal life and you suddenly want to add magic to it. But if you've already established that this is like a weird surrealist world and you've laid out the rules to it, it takes a special kind of fucking up to make it go completely off the rails. Let me give an example, and it's not going to be the obvious Ikuhara one because I talk about him too much. But I will go to my other favorite director, who is a master at not underestimating an audience's ability to figure things out for themselves if you just let them. Satoshi Kon.
When you're watching one of Satoshi Kon's works, which you have and or should immediately because they are the best in the world, for example in Perfect Blue, you're pulled along this psychological journey from the point of view of an ex-idol trying to become a mature actress, where the boundaries between what's real and imagined and what's part of her acting career are indistinguishable. You share Ms. Blue's delirium, and you feel like you are solving the mystery at the same time as her. Now what you don't need is someone to sit Miss Perfect Blue down and tell her/tell you, oh, see, what happened is she actually took some drugs that were created by a super intelligent AI that the idol music industry created in order to make her think that she was a washed-up idol now acting in prestigious movies, but in reality, she was just in her room the entire time. And actually, get this, she herself is in fact another super intelligent AI who can shape reality in the cinematography of the scenes we're looking at through her magic computer cables. So the point of the story is, you never know if a girl you meet is AI. No, obviously not. That would be a horrible, shitty story to tell, especially compared to the masterpiece of cinematic, unreliable narrative storytelling that is Perfect Blue. It actually hurt me a little to think about Perfect Blue going full web.
So now, going back to web, the reason that it is bad on so many levels isn't because it just explains things. It's because it explains things that it doesn't need to. Like, there's a way to explain things and have it be satisfying without completely disregarding the rules of your universe and keeping with the themes of the story that you're trying to tell. But what makes it bad is that it goes against the whole themes that they had been setting up in the entire first half of the show. They literally say, care about this, and then later on they're like, oh no, actually care about this other thing.
To me, the entire first half of the show was about the inherent fragility as well as the inherent resilience of teenage girls. Their constant battle against adults who put them through situations that they are not prepared for, that they have to figure out how to deal with on their own and with each other. Teenage girls seriously go through some of the most fucked up shit that anyone has to go through. The world is stacked against them, wants to harm them in every way, wants to tear them apart from their friends and family and turn them into commodities for consumption while also wanting them to consume as much as possible to be considered a human being. If I was a parent, I would be scared shitless of all the things that could happen to a teenage girl. But at the same time, I think teenage girls are strong as fuck. They go through so much at so young, and they learn how to protect themselves, how to protect each other. Fucking up along the way, sure, but learning a lot and taking those lessons with them into early adulthood. For example, I don't know a single teenage girl who has not been harassed in some way by an adult man. I'm talking from like a light catcall in the middle of a busy street where everyone can hear to full-on sexual assault. Nobody prepares them for that. And of course, people find a way to blame teenage girls for anything that happens to them, to keep the adult men who are committing these literal crimes from being seen as anything but perfect angels. And this show did such an amazing job at capturing that feeling. For those first 7 episodes, it managed to portray that zeitgeist of teenage girlhood in a really intimate, empathetic way that I was genuinely impressed and touched by.
And that's what makes the ending so thoroughly disappointing and betraying, because all these themes that I'm talking about are just dropped and never brought up again, or are literally countered by the narrative itself at the end, which ends up victim blaming and taking the side of the adult men in the situation, which made absolutely no sense because the entire first half had set it up to be on the girl's side. I cannot understand why they did that, and I will never forgive them for it, but here's my hot take. I don't think you need to throw out the egg whites with the egg yolk here. I don't think you need to throw out the egg yolk with the egg. I think you can. I still can enjoy those first 7 episodes. And I will admit, I am extremely biased in being able to do that because of my favorite character in the show, Momoe.
Momoe was the tomboy girl who often gets mistaken for a boy by all the other girls around her who are gay as fuck and want to date her. She likes dressing up in more masculine clothing, Sailor Uranus style, and doesn't want to change the way she looks just to be perceived as more of a girl. But at the same time, she does feel horrible every time someone misgenders her.
Now, I'm gonna show you something. Yeah, that was me. When I was a teenager, most people thought I was a boy. Even when I was a kid, actually, my mom has these stories of people coming up to her and saying, oh, your son is so beautiful. Oh, you put all these hair clips on your son's head. Wow, that's so interesting. And she would be like, I put the hair clips on her so people could tell that she's a girl. So when I was a teenager, this happened a lot. And it was when I became more aware of it. And it was always funny because people would come up to me assuming that I was a guy until I would open my mouth to say anything and I would sound like this. ah, which is not usually what people associate with the epitome of masculinity. If you want, I can give you another one. Yeah, so that's what I sound like. They would be very confused, and they would always get this like look of shock on their face when they'd find out. I never wore makeup, and I never like looked particularly feminine, and I always wore my older brother's shirts, and I just didn't really care about looking any kind of way. But even though it was pretty funny, it would still like bum me out. I feel like in general in society, like being a girl who is told that you constantly look like a boy is like it's a way to tell people that they look ugly, at least when I was growing up. Because like it's like, oh, if a boy looks like a girl, like if a boy has feminine features, like if they have, sorry that this is very cis, but just bear with me, it'll be over soon, but like if a boy has long eyelashes, then oh, they're very beautiful, you know, and they might get bullied for being gay or something for having long eyelashes, but nobody would say that they're not beautiful. Whereas if a girl has, you know, more masculine features, like a lot of body hair or something, then, you know, it's like you're not conforming to the beauty standards of this time. And so I kind of just believed that I was ugly, disgusting, unwanted, and would never get a boyfriend. Thank God. And so I'd start thinking, oh, I need to be more feminine, you know? I need to learn how to put on mascara and sit more femininely and not laugh so loud and just not be opinionated about things. And so I would kind of try that, but honestly, it was kind of exhausting. And it was kind of like almost cosplaying something like, oh, okay, and now today I am going to be a girl. I am going to shave and I'm gonna put on the makeup. Which was fun. It was fun sometimes, you know, but it was always like, you know, I will specifically do this to become a girl. Now, before a billion of you go into my comments screaming and hooting and hollering, hey, Stushi's an A. Yeah, maybe. I don't fucking know. Please, if somebody knows what my gender is, tell me, because I don't have the energy to figure that shit out. But if you know what my gender is, please leave that in the comments below. Anyway, now that I'm basically like a
queer elder,
I'm much more comfortable with how I look and am perceived. And also looking masculine and having masculine traits is not an inherently bad thing. Like that, I don't know why that's like such a thing that is ingrained in you when you're younger. And you know, even though I might still think I'm ugly sometimes, you may be shocked to know that some people find me attractive. I give you all this TMI because Momoe is the only character in any piece of media I have found that exemplifies this feeling of mine to a T. Pun intended.
Throughout these Protect the Girl of the Week from Monster of the Week events, almost all the girls that Momoe had to protect have thought that she was a guy, a Prince Charming coming to save them, and more often than not, have sort of flung themselves at her. She often doesn't disclose that she's not a guy, maybe because she wants to give them this nice little parting gift at the end of their life, or maybe she's just too awkward. I don't know, I get it. But my favorite part of the show is when she meets Kaoru, one of the girls that she has to protect in order to bring back her friend, Haruka. Kaoru, like many others, starts getting a little flirty with Momoe. And Momoe is all like, oh, you're flirting because you think I'm a guy. And Kaoru is like, nah, I like you because you're a girl. And Momoe is like, oh, okay, cool. So you're a lesbo like Haruka then. I get it. And Kaoru is like,
違う違う。違うの？僕、心は男子なんだよ。
I am a guy. And Momoe just like accepts it immediately. And they fight off the monster, and Kaoru gives Momoe his trans flag jacket, and they kiss. And Momoe is fucking stoked and so into it, and it's just like such a nice moment. Maybe I'm stating the obvious here, but like, do you have any idea how rare this is to, one, have a trans guy not even have to explain anything or excuse anything or present traditionally masculine or anything, and then two, to have someone like Momoe just accept that and be totally into it? Like, isn't that fucking cool? Why isn't anyone talking about it? Oh, it's because it's during episode 10, the episode where one of Frill's minions comes and murders Momoe's Pokemon and makes her eat it. Is it because they fucking ruin it for everyone 2 minutes after the best scene of the entire show? Is that why? Yeah, that's why.
So I know that at this point, some of you frickin' losers might be thinking of using my video to argue that momoe is not trans. So you can trigger the cat girls online or something. Yeah, good one. But no, not this time. Because I am the last person who would ever discount the reading of momoe as a trans girl. There's nothing in the text itself that I could find that would render that type of reading false. So don't you dare fucking use my video to make that type of argument. And also, just because I, like, personally relate more to momoe if she's like a tomboy or cis girl, that doesn't mean that my interpretation is more valid than anyone else's. It just means that that's the type of character that I am drawn to and see myself in. So I'm biased. But like, this show is such a clusterfuck already that, like, honestly, any type of interpretation you wanted to have, just go for it. You have my blessing.
One of my headcanons is that Ai and Koito are in love with each other because the visual language of the show heavily implies that. I don't even want to entertain the idea that they were both in love with their art teacher. Like, ew, just stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. Stop. These girls are clearly in love with each other, but they don't know it yet, and they're just diverting the romantic and sexual energy they have for each other onto this adult man who shows them basic kindness because that is more socially acceptable than admitting you're in love with your same-sex best friend. And that is the truth. It's true. That's the truth, and that's how I'm watching it, and you can't stop me.
To wrap all of this up, I think there's many wonderful things in it that could have made it a cult classic and part of the must-watch teenage girl anime canon next to, like, Utena and Madoka. If only it didn't sabotage itself in the most absurd way possible. But I think it's still good that this show exists, because even though it ends up bad, it's at least bad in a unique way. It's experimental. It gave us canon lesbians and trans people and teenage girls with interesting and unique internal lives. It tried, I think. At least some people on the team tried. Some people on the team understood that there were some gems in that show that could have shone so brightly if only there was someone there to polish them. But no, instead the show ended up putting those gems in like a fucking paper shredder or something, and then the paper shredder just exploded, and now there's just like shrapnel everywhere. Because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't put gems in a paper shredder because they're not paper, and also because gems shouldn't be shredded in the first place. They should be polished and then put like in a nice little satin box with like a ribbon on top, and then you open it and you see the gem and you're like, wow, it's so beautiful. And then like the more you look into it, the more beautiful all the ways that it's like reflecting the light is. You don't really understand how it's doing that. You don't really understand how exactly the physics of the colors and the like light refraction works, but it doesn't matter because you don't need someone to explain to you exactly how light physics works. Just like let the colors shine and let them make you feel what you want to feel. And I'm not gonna let the fucking big paper shredder ruin it for me. I'm not gonna like let them stop me from seeing what I want to see. So here's my final recommendation. Watch episodes 1 to 7. Skip 8 because it's a recap. Skip 9 because and then watch 10. But only until Kaoru disappears. As soon as he's gone, stop watching. Just end the episode there. You will thank me. You can make up the ending after that yourself. But you're probably not going to do that. You're probably going to actually watch it and then regret it. His very specific viewing experience gets the Stushi seal of approval, and if you don't like, oh my god, what? I'm almost done. What? What do you want?
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Queen Yas, Queen Slay.
Yeah, I'm like right about to finish recording this video. Can this wait?
It's just your script there. It says, talk about Sunny Boy.
What are you even talking about? What is Sunny Boy? Where does it even say that? Yay, free food. So I was listening to the Sunny Boy soundtrack while finalizing this script, and I just had this sudden urge to scrap it and throw it all away. I obviously didn't do that, and I do still mean a lot of what I said, but I also realized that Sunny Boy is kind of superior in almost every way. You might be wondering, what is Sunny Boy? She's sleeping.
Sunny Boy is a silly little show that just happens to be the best anime of the year for me. Yes, Odd Taxi was very good too, but it didn't emotionally resonate with me as much. Don't get all up in my DMs about this. Its premise is pretty straightforward for a show that is anything but. A group of teenagers wake up in an alternate reality high school in the middle of nowhere. By which I mean literally nowhere. The whole school building is just placed in a dark void. Some teenagers discover they now have psychic abilities. The whole show is about them trying to decode the mystery of what happened and how they can come back to their own world. Again, sounds straightforward, but the route the show takes in weaving that story is more like gay backward. Get it? The existence of straightforward implies the existence of a gay backward.
So Sunny Boy is a show that I definitely don't have the right amount and size and shape of brain cells to understand. But I understand just enough to know that it delves into themes of identity and this transitionary teenage period and adults and rules and who gets to make them, and power and the relationships that we form, and it's all told in a very empathetic, unique, and fucking weird way. I don't want to spoil literally a single thing for you because it really is something you should experience untainted. But if what I was saying about Wonder Break Priority made you go, well, that sounds nice and all, but I want to watch a show that knows what it's doing, that has consistent themes and builds upon what it sets up at the beginning, and treats its audience like intelligent, active participants, honestly, just go watch Sunny Boy. There is no explicit queerness in Sunny Boy, but like that's not, well, what kind of metric is that? It's just a good show. Go watch it and then give them some money so that they can keep making this just weird, absurdist shit. Because we need more shows that are just plain fucking weird. Alright, bye!
Hey, hi. Thanks for watching all the way. I like sort of half joked about this in the middle of my video, but I did do a Patreon page, so if any of you are interested, please check that out. I really want to make more of these in a more reasonable time span, so that would definitely help me out. I guess I should remind you to subscribe. Cool. Okay, see ya.